Hi guys, I'm Matt Jones and today we're going to be working on this very cool little DIY upcycling project where I'm going to be turning this old scaffold board offcut and some old bike chains I've found lying around in my workshop into a really cool free hanging shelf that's going to go behind me because my workspace is getting a little bit crowded now, and what better way to grow some storage space than to build a bike themed shelf to hang on that wall. So for this shelf, there is no perfect size or ideal length, and I know that that's going to fit perfectly on the wall behind me. So I'm going to try and maximise what I've got and just square it off at one end by removing this old offcut. I can't even remember what that was for, but using a set square to get a proper right angle, I can mark it on both ends. And now that just needs cutting off. I'm going to use a circular saw for this because I have a range of power tools here, but you could just use a manual hand saw, and throughout this build, the whole of this shelf build is possible without using power tools, which is really cool. We're going to start cutting that now just to save a bit of time. I've got an orbital sander here which is going to make a really quick job of tidying everything up, taking off the splinters and any burrs from whatever this was used for before. So we're going to go over all the sides of this now with a thin layer of oil, then we're going to leave it to dry, and next up it's going on the wall. Right then. Right, that's going to look great now it's all oiled, so I'm going to leave that to dry, go and wash my paintbrush, put the telly on, and then when we come back to it, I'll explain how we're going to mount it to the wall. So we've come back to our shelf and it's nice and dry now, so the next step is mounting it to the wall behind me. And this wall is made up of timber slats, which means that if I mounted it in the conventional way using brackets, it would run uphill away from the wall, which is a pain. So we're going to get around that by using a pair of hinges to attach the shelf to the wall. The other strength and the other win there is if you're using a bigger piece of wood, a bigger offcut that's wider, you could release the chains and let the shelf swing flush with the wall. That's going to get you around, saving space, and again, if you're using a really deep shelf, it can just get it out of the way. So I'm going to screw a hinge into both ends of this shelf now, one this end, one this end, and because I've got this old metal brace from the original scaffold board, which is 105mm long, so I'm going to mark that up from the other end, the same distance, 105mm, so that I know the hinges are equidistant from each end. Right, let's get these hinges screwed on. One, two. And same again, mark it up against my line. Next step then is to attach these chain or eye plates to the shelf. So there's going to be one of these at either end and another two screwed into the wall, and it's going to be between those the chain hangs, and it's going to be nice and tight to support the shelf. So 4 screws in each, we're going to do that now, then it's going on the wall. Lovely. That's looking great. So the next step is to figure out where you're going to place it on the wall. And for me, I feel like with the space I've got, I'm going to mount it here. And I'm going to put a level on it just to make sure, yeah, that's spot on. So those hinges now need more screws to affix this to the wall. And then the chains are going to run from that eye plate up to our second and third one, or third and fourth one, up on the wall. One. So using the hinges, that's the shelf in full shelf mode. And then if we release it, it can flap down like that, giving me more space on the workbench, or it could double up as a sign. Just had that cunning little plan. Don't know, it could be like a motivational slogan. Next step then is determining how long the chain needs to be. So using a tape measure, I'm going to measure just a rough length that allows the chain to sit at a good angle, about 45 to 60 degrees. So 40 centimetres is a rough estimate of how long this chain needs to be. But we have to double that to 80 because it's going to go there and back. So I'm going to use a chain breaker now to split the chain at 80 centimetres. And then afterwards, we're going to put the eye plates on the wall at the top, and we're going to get them exactly in the right position for a level shelf. That's one length of chain. We're going to need a second one at the exact same length, but before mounting these to the wall, you've got to make sure you remember to pass it through the other eye plate before rejoining the chain. Right, as well as being a pretty cool industrial style necklace, this is the last key piece of the puzzle to get the shelf fixed up. So using this clip, we're going to get the chain in there and do the same on the lower eye plate. Now, this bit might be a bit fiddly, but we're going to figure out where this needs to go on the wall by marking it with a pencil. And I already know the shelf's level that way, just need to get it level this way. And that is right there. So I'm going to put some holes in these screw holes. Nice. Good to go. They need drilling in. So now we just need to repeat that exact same process with our second bit of chain, our second eye plate and the final clip. Right, now the moment of truth. Let's see if everything all fits, all the stars align. And we'll hang the shelf. Result. Look, one of them holds it. This is going to be mega strong. Look at that. That's cool, isn't it? Job done. I'm really chuffed with that, and look, it's perfectly level, which is a result. And it's really cool. It's a very, very bike-themed shelf in a garage which is extremely bike-themed and full of bikes. So now we can load it up with some of the stuff we've used in today's video to build the shelf. There we go. As I was explaining earlier, you're not limited to a certain size shelf or piece of wood. You could use any offcut, whether it's a scaffold board for a small shelf or a great big piece of wood like this, where you could actually create your own workbench that's suspended by the chains, and then you can unclip it to create loads of space and get it out the way, because those chains will hold a lot of weight, whether it's a small shelf or a great big workbench. You can head to silverlinetools.com to check out the full range of tools that I've used for this video, but good luck with your build and see you in the next one.